is a self-corroborating proof of the accuracy of the recordings and the correctness of the finding. It has taken lots of efforts to find the precise dates because it needed lot of elimination of other possible dates which did not satisfy the description of the observation and sequence of the events in the entirety. I have got my findings published in the shape of a book titled Dating the Era of Lord Rama. This particular book is in public domain for almost 4 years now, and I have received a number of views confirming what I have found, and I am yet to hear from somebody or anybody disagreeing with my findings.
We find that the astronomical dating method not only fixes the time period of the event, but also shows the geographical location from where the unique planetary configuration could have been observed. Thus we find that the total solar eclipse on the day of the Kardoshan episode could indeed have occurred at Panchavati as described in the Valmiki text. Similarly, the configuration of the night sky of Hanuman meeting Sita could indeed have been observed from present-day Lanka, as has been mentioned in the text. From the dates arrived at using archaeoastronomy, the date of birth of Rama, that is Sri Ramanavami, in the Chitra month occurs on 10th January in 5114 BCE. Today, this 9th day in the lunar month of the Chitra occurs around 21st April. There is a gap of about 100 days here. This gap has occurred in a period of 7,200 years. How does one explain this gap? Varahamihira, the noted astronomer-mathematician of medieval India, who wrote his treatise Brihat Samhita in 530 CE on the topic of Vasant Sampat, the retrograde motion of the vernal equinox, states that for every 72 years, 1 day should be adjusted in the calendar. He also advocated this correction to be carried out every 500 years. Unfortunately, the correction factor has not been applied. 1 day for every 72 years over the last 7,200 years between 5114 BCE and now accounts for the difference of 100 days. The modern astronomers have also explained this through the phenomenon of precession of equinox.
Let us look at ground facts now. No major archaeological relics of the period of Rama have been found on ground so far. This is because Rama is said to have lived thousands of years ago. In a continuous civilization, generations come and go, and as they keep building and rebuilding their cities, they destroy or alter evidences of the previous generation. Hence, we don't find, and it's not easy to find, evidences in Ayodhya or other parts of the land today.
To understand this, let us think of a clock which stopped ticking during an earthquake. It is an evidence of the time of the quake. But if it had continued to tick along, then it ceases to be an evidence. While lack of archaeological evidences on land seems like a problem in proving historicity of Rama, B.B. Lal, the renowned historian of India, states that the existence of only one Mathura, one Ayodhya and one Chitrakuta itself is an advantage in proving the authenticity of these places. Let us look at Krishna, the other legendary hero of India. We face a similar problem here too. There is no real archaeological evidence on land due to continuous civilization in Mathura, Vrindavan and Dwaraka. Few decades back, due to the pioneering work by marine archaeologists, they have been able to discover a whole town submerged under the sea west of the coastal town of Dwaraka. It is because the deep seas swallowed Dwaraka, the town became uninhabitable and frozen in time, and hence after so many thousands of years, it is still able to provide evidence for the existence of an advanced township tallying with the city described in the epic Mahabharata. Similarly, the only place to look for archaeological evidences of Rama is the Rama Setu, which today could be submerged in the sea.
Rama and his team are said to have built this bridge over the seas to Lanka. If the bridge has been underwater for many centuries and has been undisturbed by man, then this can provide us the vital archaeological clues we are looking for to establish the historicity of Rama. Because only if Rama is historical, then can this bridge be man-made? In corollary, if the setu is shown to be man-made as per the textual descriptions and there are other scientifically corroborating data, then it proves the historicity of Rama. If this bridge is mentioned in passing in the text, it does not warrant further examination. The text gives the process of bridge construction in great and specific detail. This level of detailing of bridge construction urges us to examine the details. This construction detailing can be studied from the aspects of survey, planning and civil engineering involved. Rama and his team seem to have surveyed this land for a possible bridge construction site. This survey and their interaction with the sea is expressed in the text as Samudradeva's response that it is not the nature of the seas to be shallow but to be deep with wild sea creatures, and hence it would not be possible for the army of Vanara to swim across. It is during this interaction with the Samudra that they identify an undersea ridge joining the two land masses. Nala introduces himself as a biological descendant of the Vishwakarma clan and offers to build this bridge. Rama accepts his credentials and appoints him as the chief engineer. Under the command of Nala, the Vanara army go about building this bridge on the sea ridge. Let us examine the civil engineering techniques employed in this bridge construction. The first is the foundation details. The text very clearly states that wood from a variety of trees, the names of which are mentioned here, were first piled on the sea ridge to give a pile foundation or wood cushion effect. It was on top of this the large and small stones were piled on. This animation here shows us clearly the seabed from which the sea ridge rises as an outcrop, which is natural and undulating. On top of this we have the trees, then the stones, large and small, and finally we have the flat finished level. Even to this day, the remnants of the bridge have this flat finished level. Due to the passage of time of many millennia, sand has accumulated over the structure, and what we are able to see now is mainly sandbars and shoals. If we carefully shovel away the accumulated sand, we are certain to see the layers of the bridge construction. In the bottom layer, the wood used by the Vanara for the foundation would certainly be there. Obviously, over the last so many thousand years, the wood would have solidified and become carbonaceous material and would probably now be botanical grains. The text then speaks of the Vanara holding ropes on both sides of the bridge being constructed and the wood and the stones being piled between them. The text clearly mentions that the Vanara held ropes for many yojana to build the bridge in proper linear alignment. We all now know that for the construction of any worthwhile structure, it is essential to maintain proper alignment and dimensions. From this description, it is clear that it was not just random throwing of stones, but a planned effort which took into consideration the concept of linear alignment, which is even today evident from the aerial photograph of the bridge. Dr. S.R. Rao, the eminent marine archaeologist who led the Dwaraka marine expedition, says, for a civilization which could build a dike and a whole city on reclaimed land at Dwaraka in 3200 BCE, the engineering skill to build the Nalasetu to Lanka must have been well within their civil engineering capability. We are now with Dr. S.R. Rao, the founder of marine archaeology in India.
Marine archaeology was introduced in India as early as 1980, and the legendary city of Dwarka was discovered on the west coast. Building of Ramsetu was not a difficult task at all for the people of the Ramayana period, because at Dwarka we have seen that people could convert a natural rock into a berthing place for the ocean-going ships. Still earlier there was a tidal dock at Lothal. Here all that they had to do was to pile up boulders over the natural rock, when the sea level was much lower, and thereby make people pass more easily than nature provided during intertidal or high tide period. Well, we find there piles of boulders laid on the rock, and that could have been only done by man and not by any other agency.
Modern civil engineers, when they execute projects, they first understand the topography of the land, nature of soil, and only then build the structure. Nala used this topographical feature to build the bridge by literally filling the gaps with wood foundation and stone on top of it to build the bridge very quickly. An engineer's ingenuity comes in using the topography of the land, and this seems to have been exhibited in this case by Nala. The indicator for this is available earlier in Ramayana story, where Hanuman, when jumping over to Lanka, hopped and stepped over the sea hillocks and even used them as resting spots en route to reaching Lanka. By leveraging this topography, they built this bridge in 5 days. The distances they covered each day is also mentioned in the text. In the text, it's explicitly mentioned that the total length of the bridge was 100 yojana in length and 10 yojana in width. This dimension is repeated in the Mahabharata text also. This is a 10:1 ratio. Today, at actual site conditions, the Rama Setu or Adams Bridge measures to 35 kilometers in length by 3.5 kilometers in width. This is also a 10:1 ratio. When there is a bridge or any barrier in the sea, there is bound to be splashing when the waves lash against it constantly, probably even destroying it eventually. To overcome this problem, it is essential to build in gaps or passages in the structure itself to allow the water to flow through. This concept is known as pore pressure. Today, on examination of this structure underwater, one can see gaps left in the piled stone formation for the water to pass through end to end. The sea in this region does not produce waves when it lashes against the bridge. Probably Nala the engineer had understood this pore pressure concept and had incorporated it in the bridge design. After the victorious battle with Ravana, while returning with Sita to Ayodhya in the Pushpak Vimana, they fly over this bridge. Rama then points this bridge to Sita and